Welcome to Jubilife City Radio. My name is Freakin Chocolate, and I'm joined by the other half of JCR, of course, the one, the only, Coco4dayz.
You mean big brain for days?
Big brain for days, brother. How you doing? How you doing?
I'm going all right, man. How you going?
I'm really well, actually.
It's good.
I've hit 2 nights in a row going to the gym, which is like unheard of.
Nice.
2 nights in a row. Obviously, I'm going to miss tonight, but that's fine because we're content.
Exactly.
We're doing the content.
We're doing the tent.
And then Thursday, tomorrow, I think I might be able to go to the gym as well.
Nice.
Jeez, look at me.
Look at you go. The hardstyle playlist helps you, doesn't it?
No, I've been listening, like, strangely enough, I've been listening to a lot of System of a Down at the gym.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah. Just like throw them back to like the toxicity days or toxicity days, sorry. Wait.
No, toxicity. Toxicity is a Pokemon.
Yeah. And Mesmerize, which is my favorite album.
Nice. Speaking of gym, I haven't gone since April last year. And someone came into my stream last night going, "You're looking swole."
I did see that, yeah.
I don't know if I should be offended that I look fatter or if I should be like happy. Someone's like, "Oh, he looks like he's burning some muscle."
You know what it was? It was the beanie.
The
beanie gave you that like macho, not macho, what's the word I'm looking for? Swole look, I guess.
Well, it is winter in Australia, so the beanie's coming back.
The beanie is back. Yeah, it is. It is. But yeah, congratulations on being the first winner of Who Wants to Be a Big Brain. That's insane because the last time we recorded JCR was before the Who Wants to Be a Big Brain, which is crazy. Time is just ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I think it was the other week. I'm like, hey, we should. When are you free to record another episode? Because like without us even realizing, time just obviously got away.
You were moving, I had my big brain stuff happening, and there was just I think Mother's Day was in there as well. Everything was
Mother's Day, moving. I had a wedding as well.
There
was a lot happening last month.
For real.
I think out of the whole working month, I worked 3 days every week. I was having Monday, Fridays off pretty much every day, every week of last month because of public holidays, moving, wedding. It was crazy.
Just life in general gets in the way. And I mean, that's what happens. But
exactly.
But yeah, glad to hear that you're doing well. We are, I guess we're kicking off another session of recording with an absolutely amazing guest. I've been wanting to get this going for a while, and then you come up with the idea of just like getting him on. I was like, you know, why did I not think about actually pulling the trigger on that? And yeah, you went out of the way to. Yeah.
Can I do a reveal for everyone watching?
Oh, YouTube? For sure.
Ready? Oh, actually, no, I'll do it this way.
Oh, hell yeah. That is sick. That's cool, man. That is really cool.
That is the official backdrop of the new stream.
Very good.
Once I work on the lighting.
Yeah. Are you going to get some of the pictures up on the wall as well? Like that Naruto one, I think?
We've got blinds there, so I've only got sort of...
Oh, that blinds? That looks like a wall. Yeah.
How good is that?
That's crazy.
So, I mean, we've got everything over there as well. So we do decide to change desk positioning. I'd have all the pops instead.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
This is what we're running with at the moment.
Yeah. I'm pretty happy. And then that's a 65-inch Sony TV. So
for all your Fortnite pleasures.
No, I'm playing Final Fantasy 16.
Ooh, okay,
Ooh, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm digging
Very
it.
good.
I'm
Very
digging
good
it.
game.
Nice,
All
nice,
right.
nice. All right. Well, I think we should get a guest on because we have a lot to talk to him about, and I'm excited to
We
speak to
do.
him. Because we've never actually spoken in real life yet. So this is gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Let me do a quick transition, and we will get our guest on the show.
Welcome back, everyone. We have our esteemed guest, Shatt3r3d coming in from America. Welcome in, dude. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here. I'm just hyped for the moment. So
Hells yeah, hells yeah. Considering the
appreciate
time, considering the time, your energy levels are up there still. So
yeah. I took a nap, so I had to prep for it. So
And the writing on the whiteboard is fantastic. World's best podcast. I wish more people.
I needed to do something for it, right? I had to do something for it.
I respect
you're a
it.
legend. Thank you, dude.
I need to get myself a little whiteboard as well. I've got a small one that I use for things, but like something just like up there always, even if it's like a sub count thing or
It's nice. I don't know. I think it helps with like small viewer engagement, stuff like that. And and also like if people are coming into the stream, you can have like little notices. I don't know. I think it just helps with like engagement. So
yeah,
like small catchphrases and stuff. So I enjoy it.
I've been using a whiteboard as well, and I've been writing down like who's subbing, and I'm doing a giveaway. So I'm writing down everyone on the giveaway, and I found myself it's helping with the engagement. People like, oh yeah, I need to use my channel points.
Yeah,
so I can enter into the giveaway.
Absolutely.
So I'm trying to stop everyone from ending my stream.
Fair.
Definitely.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, your VGC background. How did you get started?
So I'm pretty new to it. So in the grand scheme of things, I've been playing for a little over a year now. Scarlet and Violet was my first game I'd ever played competitive on. I literally played one online match on Sword and Shield and was like, this ain't it. And so Scarlet and Violet quickly turned into one of my favorite Pokemon games of all time. And so when I transitioned to becoming a Pokemon streamer from that, the Twitch community was like, well, if you're going to do it, you need to do it. And so I just kind of hopped into VGC and never looked back. And it's been quite a wild ride. So
yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's good.
Well, just out of curiosity, obviously VGC is relatively new to you. When did your Pokemon journey in general begin?
Oh, I've played every mainstream game. So I Pokemon Yellow back in like 99 or 2000 or something like that.
Nice.
I had an old school Game Boy with the light that you had to have over the top of it so you could see at night and stuff. You know what I mean?
I made my parents buy me one of them as a kid because I was trying to get through Rock Tunnel. And I couldn't see. I didn't know Flash was a thing.
100. Yeah.
I was like,
just like shine the brightest light. You're like, you're the HM.
I would. I'm like, Mom, Dad, I need light to be able to see. And they got sick and tired of me like holding it up to the light. So they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I can't see through this cave.
It might sound like boomer of me, but like I remember back in the days of being in the backseat of the car and trying 100%. To like wait for like the street lights to
hit some stuff. 100%. 100%. Yeah.
Or being stopped at the red lights going, yeah, I got some time. I've got like 30 seconds before the light goes green.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. No, that was and then I had like a curfews and stuff like that. So I would like wait until my parents went to sleep and I'd hide my Game Boy underneath the blanket so that I could, when they went to sleep, come back and continue playing it. No, it was definitely a vibe. I loved it. So but yeah, I've played every mainstream game. I would say that I wasn't as invested in like Gen 6 and Gen 7. I was in high school at the time, and so
it was uncool to play Pokemon or like Pokemon in high school.
Yeah, so like I mean I was a nerd, I was into a lot of nerdy things in high school, but because of that, I mean I played them, but I didn't like delve into 6 and 7 as much, and then kind of came back with Sword and Shield. So
yeah, nice.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just to throw back to the beginning again, sorry. Do you remember your first starter? Oh wait, it was yellow, so it was Pikachu, right?
It was yellow. It was Pikachu.
Yeah,
my
of course,
first starter was absolutely Pikachu. I played red and blue I played red. I never played blue, but yeah, I played red, and my first of those three was Bulbasaur. So
hey,
Oh,
all right,
okay.
Bulbasaur lover. I respect it.
yeah, so all of my friends picked Charmander, and so I was like, I don't want to pick what everyone else picked. And as a kid, I was like, what's water gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, water doesn't do anything. Like, so I was like, I'm not gonna pick Squirtle. So so I picked Bulbasaur.
Yeah, that's fair. I kind of had like a similar thing, but I was thinking, what is grass gonna do?
Yeah, right. Right.
I thought, what is grass going to do as well as a kid? I'm like, fire is not going to be good.
Well, fair.
Yeah,
I went Squirtle.
As did I. Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, it's definitely it's cool talking to people about like what their thought process was on starters. I will say I have never ever picked a fire starter.
Oh, really?
Never, not once.
Wait,
That's
hold
not
on.
my thing.
Hold on, Gen 3. Surely.
So my favorite Pokemon of all time is Grovyle.
Okay, cool.
So,
yeah.
So yeah, no, I went. I guess a quick synopsis. I went Pikachu, obviously, and then I went into Bulbasaur, and then I went into Totodile. And
yes.
And then I actually so with the third generation, I picked Trico first. Okay, and then I got to Sceptile and I evolved it, and I can't stand Sceptile's design. So much so that I deleted my save file, started over, and picked Mudkip.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I went to Swampert at that point because I think Swampert's better than Sceptile personally. After that, Gen 4 is the greatest grass starter, Torterra. Turtwig and the Torterra is goated.
So when's Torterra making an appearance on stream on a team?
It needs to. Shell Smash.
Brother got Shell Smash, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, Shell Smash Torterra, let's go. After that, Gen 5, I went Snivy. Gen 6 was Froakie. Yeah, Gen 6 was Froakie. Gen 7 was was Gen 7? I forgot. Those were what we call the dark days. I don't
really that was Rowlet.
Rowlet. That's what it was. It was Rowlet. Popplio and Incineroar.
Yeah.
Litten. Yeah. It was Rowlet is who I picked. And then Gen 8, I picked Sobble, part of the Sobble squad. And then for Gen 9, I picked Quaxley.
Oh, yeah, nice.
I've never picked a fire starter ever. So
wow. Okay. Sticking to the guns. I like it.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy to me? When you said just before you were part of the Sobble gang, my brain for some strange reason were like, Sobble's the newest one. And then you went on to say, and the next gen. I was like, hello.
And then I went, exactly.
There's another generation after that.
That's what I think with Rillaboom. I completely forget that Meowscarada even exists. I'm just like, yeah, Rillaboom's the newest grass. And they're like, that's not true. And I'm just like, who exists? They're like, the cat. And I was like, oh, I guess Meowscarada is a Pokemon.
Yeah.
I think in terms of VGC, the Gen 9 starters are probably the most forgettable.
That's
Skeletor just gets some showtime.
Does it?
Well, if so,
one regional.
And in Reg A, Meowscarada was solid. Meowscarada went crazy in Reg A.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it, had 100% accurate crit move. Like it went crazy.
Reg A feels like it was so long ago now.
It was, but Meowscarada went crazy. So yeah, there was that. But I'm with you as far as I think it's because their signature moves aren't super great, and their abilities, quite frankly, are terrible. So
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like their abilities are, quite frankly, awful. So they don't match something like Intimidate from an Incineroar, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Overgrow is so good.
Overgrow's the greatest. You just put a focus sash on it and it's all good to go, right?
So how did you find transitioning from a casual player to a competitive player? How did how did you find that transition?
And it was rough. So I tell people all the time, people don't believe me because I don't know, people think I'm good at the game or whatever now. But when I first made the transition, I didn't know like anything, like literally nothing about VGC. I didn't know that being burned cut your attack. I didn't know being paralyzed cut your speed. I didn't know what EVs were. I didn't know what IVs were. I didn't know people. I didn't even know Pokemon had hidden abilities. I literally was like, I was one of the Pokemon players that if it doesn't do damage, I don't click the move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was like, you just, I didn't care about accuracies. I didn't know about speed tiers. You know what I mean? I thought I knew that like extreme speed went before quick attack, but like that was it. You know what I mean? Like I knew where like all moves, quick attack went before that, extreme speed went before that. Like that was it. Yeah.
And then you get introduced to the world of Prankster, and you're like,
absolutely.
Okay, how does this one work now?
It throws everything on its head. And so it was quite the learning curve. I will say I made it a little bit easier for myself, not on purpose, but the reason I went into VGC was or like my launch into VGC was Farigiraf was like one of my favorite Gen 2 Pokemon. Or Girafarig, sorry. It was one of my favorite Gen 2 Pokemon. And so when it got its evolution, I was like, this is hype. You know what I mean? So I just kind of Googled like teams with Girafarig on it. And people were like, this was back in. So I played like one game of Reg A. So basically Reg B is when I started. People were like, yeah, no, it's a great Trick Room setter. And I was like, what is Trick Room? I didn't even heard of the move Trick Room before. And so, but once I started building it, I built a Trick Room team for the first time, and it helps a lot with kind of easing into it because you don't really need to understand speed tiers as much when you just kind of tell everybody I'm gonna go first. You know what I mean? Like so I don't need to know that like where everybody lands on speed tiers because I just Hariyama at the time was like super slow and like you know what I mean? Like I just was in a decent spot as far as that was concerned. So so that helped me at least with the transition of not having to keep up with speed tiers, which I would say is one of the hardest transitions if you're new to VGC.
Yeah,
100%.
definitely. I'm curious to know. Obviously, you've dipped into the Trick Room side of things, but what would you say Trick Room is your favorite style of play? Or
absolutely, by far.
Yeah.
like by it's not even it's mainly because for two reasons. One is it makes the game easier to play for me.
Yep.
Right, because when I go into a game, right, every single game I play, I look at it and I go, what stops me from clicking Trick Room? How do I allow myself to start Trick Room? And what are they doing to try to stop me from clicking Trick Room, right? Like that's my only thing when I go into turn one. I don't have to worry about like, am I balanced? Are they balanced? Am I hyper offense? Like, do I have to like, you know what I'm saying? Are they gonna protect? Am I gonna like blow everything into the one? You know what I'm saying? I ain't gotta worry about all that kind of stuff. I just focus on setting up Trick Room.
And then the second thing,
right? Exactly, right. And then the second thing is it makes all your Pokemon bulkier, which is nice because I don't have to invest any into speed. So all of the investment you would have into speed, all of that goes into bulk. And so it helps with the math on like, well, will this Pokemon live? And I'm just like, well, if it won't live, then there was no chance of it ever living because this is as bulky as this thing can get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's Trick Room has been like my baby. So
that's an interesting way to think about it because I wouldn't say that I'm like all in on VGC. I've been to some regionals. I do I guess I do VGC on Twitch as well. And I do a lot of draft leagues as well, VGC format draft leagues.
I really want to get into that. So
so fun, man. If there's ever a spot available in one of my leagues, I'll let you know. It's like generally 90% of it is American anyway, so it's good time zone for you.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't struggle team building, but like I struggle with piloting teams. And I've never really thought about it in a way of going trick, because I've used Trick Room in the past. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm a big Fridge Giraffe player as well, or I was back when it was. It's still good, but it's not like amazing at the moment.
100%.
There's better Trick Room users at the moment.
That's close.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That bulky evil eye.
I mean, and it can't get faked out.
Things. It can't get faked out.
Can't get faked out. I mean, I guess neither can Frigoraph, but yeah.
Yeah.
And you can Terra Normal to stop Spectire.
Yeah, I mean,
Normal's crazy.
I think the Indeedee is the play, if not the Kali Ice, or
I think
I guess there's other options out there.
I'm with you with the Indeedee thing as well, just because it does two birds, one stone. Like it helps with like the prankster stuff, but it also like helps with terrain wars, like because Rillaboom's everywhere. So and they have the same speed stat, right? And so if they're not a Trick Room team, they will have at least not minimum speed on Rillaboom, right? And so if you lead Indeedee, they lead Rillaboom, you'll always have Psychic Terrain turn one. So they, you know what I mean? So they have to like swap in Rillaboom at that point, and now it's hard because people don't have like 2 fake out users anymore. It's just I think Indeedee's the move. So
yeah, no, that's fair. As I said, I hadn't really thought about it in a way of going into the game with the mindset of looking at the team. Okay, how am I going to get Trick Room up first turn, or how am I 100%. Going to be able to get it running? As opposed to I do enjoy to use the hyper offense speed
Reggie
teams where you just like I am using Reggie Ice at the moment, but
fair.
But just like hitting like hitting the fast moves and just hoping for big knockouts next to a Chi-Yu. I miss the Chi-Yu Fluttermane days where you can just go in there and hit the damage button.
Yeah, they were good days.
But
Chi-Yu is actually coming back a lot. So
okay.
Chi-Yu's making a nice little appearance in a lot of spots. It does a lot,
especially with Zacian. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, it sits in a lot of cool spots, and it walls off
Spectire
Shadow. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Kelly Shadow.
Yeah.
So it's I wouldn't say it's like super big right now, but it's not non-existent, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, what I got out of it was maybe I'll try and just like have that at the forefront of my mind next time I'm going into like a battle and I'm running Trick Room teams. Just like, how am I going to get this up and running? Because I haven't, when I've been to my regionals that I've been to, I haven't done great. I mean, to be fair, one of the regionals I went to recently, I did bring a bit of a meme team into it, so didn't expect to go great.
Was that your Clodsire one?
Yeah, I brought Clodsire and Okidogi to it. It was fun.
I fought a Clodsire in Indianapolis a couple weeks ago. Clodsire is crazy bulky for some reason. I didn't know it was that bulky. It just ate an entire like Terra Fire charcoal eruption, and I was like, there's no way you live this, and it lived it, and I was like, there's actually no shot.
That's crazy.
It just turned around and blew me up, and I was like, because obviously it's super effective against Torkoal, but I was like, this is bananas. Nothing lives this move in the sun, right? Like
that's phenomenal.
It did the damage. It took the damage, sorry. But it was the reason I brought it was for the Tatsugiri Dondozos getting around and just being able to like click the haze button, or even just I think I went Terra Fairy as well. So like I would completely wall it. Couldn't use any dragon moves on me. Had water absorb. Couldn't use any water moves on me. What's it going to use?
Fair. No, 100%.
Yeah, that works out.
But yeah, like it makes Trick Room makes it easier to kind of play to your outs, because like I said, if you're not facing a Trick Room team, like another Trick Room team, you're just like, cool, I need to get Trick Room up. How do I get Trick Room up? And then you have a timer. You know what I mean? Like the game works. Like you're just, you know what I'm saying? So it does make Trick Room teams feel monotonous sometimes. Just because like the games kind of semi feel the same if it hits, you know what I mean? Because you kind of set up Trick Room and then you enable your sweeper and then your sweeper sweeps, you know what I mean? And then you just kind of go to the next game and then you set up Trick Room, enable your sweeper sweeps. So
See, I'm running a very hard Trick Room team right now. I've got Cali Ice set Trick Room. I've got Dusclops to set Trick Room. I've got Indeedee to set Trick Room.
Valid.
Jeez.
In the back. So my main four I go to is Dusclops, Cali lead.
Yeah.
Trick Room with Dusclops, and then Cali's ready for next turn. Main priority is getting the Dusclops sacked so that I can bring out Ursaluna Blood Moon.
That's valid. Yeah.
Ursaluna Blood Moon, I've got the speed stat, so it's faster than Cali, like in Trick Room scenario. So then that way, you can do chip damage, and then Cali just comes in and starts
and finishes up for the boost. Does Dusclops live? I don't actually know the spec on like the stats on any of this, but does Dusclops like eat Miraidon damage well? I just know Miraidon has like 15,000 pluses on it, and so I'm just curious.
So what I usually do is I pivot into my Indeedee. If I'm versing Miraidon,
okay,
I'll pivot into Indeedee and Trick Room with Cali.
So and if you turn off the terrain, it's a lot easier to live. So that's valid. I was just curious. I didn't know if it just could eat it, and then you just like,
it eats it if you parting shot. I know that.
Yeah. Fair.
That's true. If you use someone to follow me, that's another good way to eat it.
That's valid. That's valid.
That's my hard Trick Room.
Nice. Did so you started VGC in the Scarlet and Violet era, and you've been to a few regionals as well already.
Yeah, I started going to regionals beginning of this calendar year, because there are two were in driving distance of my house. Nice. Portland and Vancouver, because I live in Washington State, and so it was like a 3-4 hour drive to Portland, and then like a 4-hour drive to Vancouver. So I started with those two first, just to make sure I enjoyed the scene, and then I didn't hate my experience there, and then fell in love with it. And thankfully, my wife also fell in love with it, so she goes with me.
Awesome!
And has a really good time. So I mean,
does she play?
She does not. She buys a lot of plushies though. No, she doesn't. We've actually talked about, side note, we have talked about trying to get her into Pokemon Go, because she does enjoy that. And that seems not for me, but she does seem to enjoy it. So we are talking about that. And then maybe like next season, you know what I mean? End of the year, beginning of next year, maybe she might do something like that with Pokemon Go. But yeah, so I've been to 1, 2, 3, 4 regionals so far. Yeah, because I went to Orlando, and then I went to Indianapolis. I think that's all I've been to. I can't remember. Yeah, those are the only 4 I've been to. And I'm gonna go to NAIC in 2 weeks in New Orleans.
That's insane. It's coming up so fast.
Yeah.
How can I ask how you went at the regionals? Have they been successful for you, or?
I've done better at each one, which is nice, right? So I started 3 and 6, and I got a bye in one of them, so it was kind of like 2 and 5 or 2 and 6, right?
Yeah.
2 and 6, and then I got a bye. So the next one, when I went to Vancouver, I went 3 and 6 and misplayed like game 9 or round 9 or whatever. So I could have maybe been 4 and 5, but I was 3 and 6. And then in Orlando we went 4 and 5, and then Indy we went 5 and 4.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So so that was nice.
Bringing Trick Room to every time.
Trick Room every time. Trick Room every time.
Beautiful.
Trick Room every time. So
nice.
So how would you approach team building and everything coming into it? Do you obviously going Trick Room? Are you using the same mons? Are you mixing it up a little bit?
I would say it's close. It's kind of a variation on the same idea. The first couple, the teams were pretty identical. When I have a team, and then when one mon doesn't perform like I want it to perform, I replace that one. So that's kind of how it's been throughout this calendar year. But like I had Ursaluna like not Blood Moon, but it's like regular Ursaluna, and that's now replaced with Groudon. So
how good's Groudon?
yeah,
When you hit your P blades.
Yeah, well, I run Gravity, so I try to make sure it's I just make sure gravity's on, and then it's 100% accurate at that point. So I mean, it's a little cheese, but it is what it is.
I haven't thought about doing that. That's a good idea.
It went 5-4 in Indy. So I brought a Alolan Exeggutor and a Groudon team to Indianapolis and went 5-4. So I can't complain too much.
Yeah, nice.
Does Eggy get chlorophyll, or is it?
No, it gets Harvest.
Okay.
Alolan Exeggutor gets it can set Trick Room. It's a dragon type, so it's not super effective. Like fire, it fire's neutral,
yeah,
which is nice because it's half dragon. And it gets Harvest, so you give it a citrus berry, it eats the berry, then at the end of the turn, if sun's up, it gets the berry back. So and so it just kind of stays on the board for a while. And I set like Gravity with Hypnosis and stuff like that, and it just kind of stalled on the side. So
yeah, nice. Okay,
that's a good idea.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It had a clear ceiling, but it was cool to take a mon that like no one uses.
Yeah,
what I mean?
I love that.
No, that's
I love
fair.
that. I get that's why I brought Clodsire as well to that regional I went to, just because like I didn't see it around anywhere, so like, you know what, I'm gonna run Clodsire.
Valid.
And it was fun. My whole goal in that regional was just to get a win with it, and I did. I remember, I don't know if you know any of the other Australian VGC players, but I had a few of them that were around me. I think I was like one of the last games to finish up for the round, and they're all just like standing around looking, and they're like, "He's gonna do it! He's gonna do it! He's done it!" And they kind of like they blew up behind me.
Awesome.
I was like,
That's
"Yeah,
nice. That's super cool.
It's a good feeling."
It's always nice when like something you've theory crafted actually works in practice. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you're just like, yeah, this is what I envisioned in my head.
It all paid off. I may have gone 3-5, but it happened.
I got the 3, and that's what matters.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
I'm with you.
Yeah, nice.
So who would you say your biggest inspiration within the VGC community is there?
I have a lot. So like I would say I've started, as far as like famous people and things like that. Also, I obviously watch people like Wolfie and Cybertron, things like that. But I'm also inspired by like just some low level streamers as well, mainly because I enjoy the fun that they have.
Yeah.
And like I enjoy watching Wolfie and things like that because he helps me with like trying to understand how the game works, so I can try to get better in that regard. But when I watch people like Nino Pokebros or Teo Pokemon or a couple of other people, things like that, Electric Healy, you guys, Meldy, I get inspired because my whole reason I wanted to do this was for the sense of community in the first place. And so this community is fantastic. And so it's cool seeing other people hone and kind of like create their own space inside of the community and then have their own happiness that the community brings to them. So like that's super inspiring. And I know that's not like crazy VGC based, but it's cool for me. As a content creator, I would say. So
yeah. No, I love that answer. The whole bringing the community together for it, and just like getting the people coming in to watch you learn how to play the game as well.
Absolutely.
And yeah. I think when it comes to like the bigger streamers, that it's difficult to kind of get a say in there. You really just have to sit there and absorb rather than having a bit of a back and forth.
Yeah, being able to ask questions and things like that. Absolutely. But it's cooler. And I'm blessed to say that I would like to say I've kind of carved my own space inside the community as well.
I would definitely say that.
So yeah, so like like I said, I'm blessed in that regard. And so but because of that, I also have now had a lot of people kind of have that, like, allow me to create that feeling in them, which is super cool, right? Like when people comment and they're just like, oh, I love how you did this, or I love how you inspire me to do this, or I love how maybe you like kind of challenge the way I thought about VGC in that regard. And the fact that like my opinion matters to literally anybody is mind blowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just it's kind of cool. So
Nah,
You know
it's an
what?
amazing feeling.
Well, I had that feeling when you came into one of my streams and you said, I really like your setup and how you do things. I was like, oh my God.
yeah,
Like, you know, someone likes what I
yeah.
do, sort of
No,
thing.
it's
So
super dope. Yeah.
I would say for me in that moment, I was like extremely humbled. I'm like, oh, you know, I'm doing something that others like. It's yeah.
It's fair, and it's important to hear that as well, right? I mean, we put a lot of time and a lot of effort into a lot of things, and um as far as like content creation, and it's not just as easy as just clicking go live, you know what I mean? And if you don't stream, you don't know that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a difference between, like I told people before, there's a difference between, I would say, playing online and streaming, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you can play online and just like click go live and just have people watch you just play online, but there's a difference than trying to like create an entertaining and inclusive and inviting environment.
Everyone.
Exactly, right. For everyone to want to be a part of, and that takes a lot of energy and a lot of thought and a lot of like intention. And so it's cool when I see other people doing that, and maybe they do something I didn't think of, or something that maybe if it wasn't something I'm going to take like initially, or like it inspired me to do something else. So like the same basic idea happens with VGC as well. So yeah, it's just really cool. It's just the community is really dope, and I love it. Love this community. So
That's amazing. Love to hear it. I yeah, when you mentioned just before, it's not as easy as pressing that go live button. I just want to I guess unpack that a little bit. Have you had have you had those times where it's harder to hit the go live button because you're not in that frame of mind where like I want to stream, I need to stream, but it's so hard to press that button.
yeah, it's interesting because, like, you know, none of us do this. I don't know if none of us, but I assume that the majority of the people that I speak with on my level do this for a living, right? And so we all have lives outside of this, right? I have a 40-hour job that I have. I just got married last year, you know what I mean? So I have a whole relationship that I'm trying to like cultivate and make sure that all that's good. I have, you know, friends that I'm also trying to make sure I keep, you know, my friendships intact and things like that. So there's a lot of other extenuating things that happen outside of, you know, Twitch that, you know, I'm keeping in balance and keeping in check and things like that, right? And as you grow bigger with your community, it's kind of a catch-22 in that regard, right? Because when no one's watching you, you're sad that no one's watching you, and you're trying to like create your space, like create your carve a space in this community that you're trying to be a part of, right?
Yeah.
And so you put all this effort to getting people to want to watch you, and getting people to want to be part of your community, and, you know, joining your Discord and watching your YouTube shorts and your TikToks, and watching your streams, and, you know what I mean, setting a schedule so they know to show up and stuff like that. But then once you get to that spot of your life, right, it creates expectation. You know what I mean? Because I've set up this expectation that I will be here, and I will be live, and like they have also set aside parts of their lives to want to support you, you know what I mean? Things like that. And so sometimes that gets hard because, you know, life sucks sometimes. When you have a hard day at work and you like, I'm supposed to stream tonight and I don't really want to, but I know that there's 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 people that will be watching me tonight, you know what I mean, and that are expecting me to go live tonight. And so it's just, like I said, it's kind of a catch-22, and I don't want to sound like I'm like ungrateful for them, you know what I mean, because like without them I wouldn't be able to do any of the things that I've done as far as like, you know, my space and Twitch. But I will say that, you know what I mean, it's what I've signed up for, and sometimes that gets hard, you know what I mean?
So
yeah,
and
definitely.
the feeling is I would say from my personal experience, I'm sure Chocolate can relate as well. It would be mutual as well.
Yeah.
You know, as you touched on, we do have lives outside of streaming and everything, and that stuff gets in the road. I know for myself, you know, I've got two kids as well, and
Yeah.
I work full time and wife and everything. So there are times where I go, yeah, kids in the hospital. I meant to stream, but you know,
Absolutely.
family first, and
100%. 100%.
and you do feel guilty for not going live, but then at least if you notify the community, hey, this is what's happened, or you know, my mind or mental space right now isn't that great. The community generally are understanding because I wouldn't say a lot of them have gone through what you have or what you've done, but a lot of them can relate to life's emergencies as well. And from what I've found in my time streaming, people are generally like, "Oh no,
And
you're
that's
right. Take the time you need."
100%. Like I'm not yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think that especially people who come regularly are a lot more, like, I wouldn't say forgiving, but understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of the fact that, like, you know, life happens, you know what I mean? But I don't know, from the sense of like you try not to have the idea of like getting caught up in the numbers and the metrics of streaming, and you know, you're not supposed to. Like, that's what every streamer that's doing anything, they always say, like, don't get caught up in how many people are watching, don't get caught up in how many people are subbed or following and all that kind of stuff, right? Because like that stuff doesn't matter. Just create the content and then people will show up. But I will also say, in that thought process, when you're trying to grow as a content creator, right, consistency matters.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And so when that consistency gets broken, there's a lot of what ifs that hit your head, like, immediately. You know what I mean? You're just like, well, what if I had done this and this instead of, you know, maybe hanging out with my friend on a Tuesday? You know what I'm saying? What if I had done this and this instead of, you know, maybe taking a nap instead because I had a long day at work? You know what I mean? So like it's just one of those things that you try to compartmentalize, but it just kind of comes with the territory, unfortunately, you know?
yeah,
So
Yeah, no, definitely.
definitely.
So out of curiosity, was there was Shattered Time a streamer before Pokemon, or
oh
did it both
yeah.
start at the same? You did, yeah.
Yeah.
Can we step into that for a little bit?
Yeah, so I made my account close to 10 years ago. And that's why I say there's a difference between playing online and streaming, right?
Yeah.
So there is I used to just click live whenever I felt like it. You know, if I didn't stream it all that month, I didn't stream it all that month. If I streamed a couple times, you know, I streamed a couple times. It is what it is, right?
Were you
And
a Destiny player?
I was not. I was a League of Legends player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, worse. And so and so I played League of Legends and I streamed that, and then life happened and I had to stop streaming. But then I moved. I'm trying to expedite the story, but I moved and then I started streaming Yu-Gi-Oh after that.
Duel Links?
So yeah, Duel Links.
Hey, my man.
So I went from Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Links to Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duel.
Mm.
And then I streamed Magic the Gathering Arena.
Nice.
And so I was playing all of that, and that's actually like what made me transition to Pokemon. So I went to Magic the Gathering mainly because, well, two things. One, I love trading card games. Like they're my heart and I love them so much, but online trading card games is so expensive.
Yeah.
It gets so hard on a monthly basis, just funneling my money into just feeding the ability for me to be able to stream this game. You know what I mean? Because like if I don't have the cards or anything like that, like I literally am incapable of even participating in the thing I want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it got hard. So that was defeating. And then funneling all this money and then still losing all of the time makes it even worse.
Yeah.
You know, so like, and then third, the community of Magic the Gathering is hit or miss. And so
sounds like Destiny, they're quite hit or miss.
Yeah. And so then Scarlet and Violet came out. Well, I guess right before that, Digimon Survive came out. So I played Digimon Survive.
Thoughts on Digimon Survive? What were your thoughts on Digimon Survive?
So that's my first, like, okay, I will say this. If you go into the game knowing it's a visual novel, it's a wonderful visual novel. Okay?
Yeah.
I will. So if you go into the game knowing Digimon Survive is not an action game, which is what so many people tried to post and things like that, like there's not enough combat, there's not enough this, there's not enough that, then you will be severely disappointed.
I was disappointed. I was one of those guys. I was like, yeah, it's a Digimon game.
Yeah.
Digimon World.
Because it's not Digimon World. Yeah, it's none of that. Right.
Yeah.
It is purely a visual novel. That being said, as far as a visual novel is concerned, the story was crazy.
Oh, it was fantastic. I don't want to spoil
anything. The story was bananas. And so like I loved it.
Especially if you went down the dark path.
Absolutely. And then
I won't go into detail, but you go down the dark path. Oh my God, that twist is just like, whoa.
Yeah. 100%. I was I don't want to go too much detail, but the first death I saw was bananas. And I was shocked to my core. I was like,
was it the sewers?
Yes.
Yeah, that was my first one.
That was wild.
I know.
My Twitch community clipped it because like I was like, because you like click through it or whatever, right? And then they picks him up, and I'm just like, there's no way. There's actually no way this is about to happen. And then it happens, and I was like, no. I was my brain stopped working for like 2 whole minutes. I was like, this is a kid's game, isn't it? And it clearly wasn't. It clearly was not.
Yeah, that blew my mind. I was laying in bed. It would have been about 11 o'clock at night, and I saw that pop up. I'm like, what just happened? I've never known Digimon to be this dark.
Yeah, and it only ramps up from there. Like,
exactly.
Like you think like that's the peak. No, that's entry level. Like it just keeps kind of going up. But yeah, so I streamed Digimon Survive, and that showed me like what life looked like as far as streaming not trading card games, and like how much fun I could have and how light I could feel while playing it.
Yeah.
And so I never went back. And so then I went right after that was done. I did a couple of things, and then Scarlet and Violet came out, and so I started streaming Scarlet and Violet, and I live streamed that from beginning to end. And the story for Scarlet and Violet is fantastic, which was why it became my favorite game. That the story is immaculate. I don't care what anybody says. That it's the greatest story of any of the games for me personally.
But the trees, there's everything wrong with the trees.
That's fair. Yeah. So much. I will say the lake or whatever by the Titan, the dragon Titan, that ocean is almost unplayable. Like the water is really laggy there. It's bad. But the
story-wise,
the story is immaculate, and I loved everything about it. So so then I since I loved it so much, I was like, I need more. And that's when the community was like, well, you know how you can play more of this? And they were like, VGC. And I was like, I guess.
Down the rabbit hole we go.
Yeah. And then so that's how I got here.
Nice. Damn. That's a journey. You started off on League of Legends, ended up on Pokemon.
100%.
I mean, it's the journey that many of us go through. But I'm sure there was different turns and stuff that got you there.
Yeah, definitely.
No, that's sick. So looking ahead, what does the future of Shattered Time look like?
That's a great question. So I actually just talked to my stream about that today, actually, as
I think I captured a little bit just at the end there.
Because NAIC is like my last tournament that I'm going to have probably this calendar year, honestly, just based on where the season schedule is, because I'm not going to Worlds, and then like my life kind of gets busy towards the fall, early winter time. And so like because of that, my schedule as far as competing in tournaments is going to be pretty bleak. And so we're going to go into I want to be a shiny hunter. That's like my little that's Shattered side quest. And so we're going to do some shiny hunting. I think I would love doing a Nuzlocke of Scarlet. So I really want to Nuzlocke Scarlet. I think the game is fun, and I would just kind of want to go through the experience again.
You should
So
Nuzlocke Radical Red.
that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. So
please don't save your sanity. The amount of times I've lost at Bugsy is just ridiculous.
right, I was like, I'm just not gonna finish anything in that game.
Pretty
I was
much.
like, there's 8 badges. I had no idea. I've only found one. So but yeah, so I want to do like some shiny hunting. I want to do some Nuzlocks. We're still gonna do some VGC stuff. It's gonna be a lot more casual though. Just kind of, this is a Pokemon I want to play with. I want to build a team with this Pokemon. I also, side note, I did this like 2-3 months ago, and I might bring it back. But I had like a gym leader challenge for VGC that I had on stream. And so I had 8 teams that were all monotypes. One of them could terrestrialize into that type. And so, and then viewers could redeem that and kind of go up the gym badges.
Did I battle you doing that, or was that one of your viewers? I remember someone came in mentioning that that's what you were doing. I can't remember if it was yourself.
I think you battled me doing it.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's been a few months since then. But I think you have. Yeah. But yeah, I have 8 teams. I've cracked a couple of them now for competitive, but I had 8 teams for that were, like I said, all monotypes, and then one of them wasn't, but it terrestrialized into that type like it did in the game. And so I might do that with 8 other types going into the summer. But yeah, and then, so like I said, and then we might do some just chatting streams on top of that, just to kind of build the community and have some cool chill days. So
yeah, nice.
It may sound like lazy content, but jumping on YouTube on just chatting screens and streams and finding a niche and just watching videos, it's great because I guess it gives your community an insight as to what you like to watch as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it a bit more interactive. Like last night, towards the end of my stream, I went, all right, we're going to chill and watch some YouTube videos. And we're watching ramen videos.
Yeah, we were. There were some scuffed, very scuffed videos.
Was it?
The guy made 100 like cheese slice ramen, and he just got 100 slices of cheese with milk and boiled the ramen in it.
It was wild.
That's bananas. That's crazy. That's actually crazy.
It sounds like lazy content, but it is a good way to engage and I guess give people a bit more of an insight on who Shatt3r3d is.
That's valid. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of just chatting, especially if you want to look to wind down a stream, or if you go, I've had enough of VGC, it's doing my head in.
Yeah.
Yeah, rather than going, well, I'm going to play a completely different game, and you watch your numbers. Again, we're not meant to watch our numbers,
but we do. I mean, it happens. Yeah.
You know, you notice you have at one point like 60 people watching. You're like, all right, I'm jumping off VGC and just plummets
12.
40. Yeah,
right.
You just go, oh, well, thanks.
You 12 are the real MVPs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But no, just chatting streams are, they're good to unwind and depressurize after an hour and a half, 2 hours of VGC.
That's valid.
Yeah, nice.
Sometimes you need it.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Just to start to wrap things up, I have a question for you. Actually, 2 questions. The first one, I was going to interrupt you earlier, but you were talking about how you were in the Duel Link space. Am I jumping to the conclusion to say that you were a shady penguin kind of guy?
A shady penguin? What's that?
Okay, I guess not. No, he's a YouTuber who was very big in the Duel Link space back in the day.
The only like streamer I even knew about, because I didn't even like, to be honest with you, I'm a terrible like Twitch participator. Like I've gotten a lot better in the last, I would say 6 to 9 months of like actually spending time in people's chats, and like maybe even when I'm on the computer just opening up Twitch and just watching people do Twitch things. But before that, like especially back when I was in the Yu-Gi-Oh days, like if I wasn't streaming, Twitch was not on the computer. Like so I didn't involve myself in Twitch at all. But Duel Links, Duel Links Meta, is that the guy's name?
Yeah.
He was like the only one that I'd ever even heard of, but yeah, I never heard of. What was he, that Shady Penguin?
Yeah, Shady Penguin. They are he's massive like Pokemon YouTuber as well.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Well, I'll check him out.
Yeah. You might like his content. But my other question I was going to ask, and it kind of does dabble in that same area. Now that VGC is at the forefront, off stream, do you play any other games?
Yeah, I mainly yes and no. So I don't play as much as I did in the past.
Yeah.
So I play TFT, so that's Team Fight Tactics.
Yep.
So I play a decent amount of that, and I play League of Legends every now and then, like on the actual Rift. I'd probably say I've played 5 games this calendar year. So like,
okay, gotcha.
Oh wow.
Like I've played like 25 games this week already. So like I still play TFT a decent amount, but like on the Rift, I like I said, I might have 5, maybe 10 games this calendar year. So so yeah, I don't play as much as I used to. I now that I've like kind of gotten into content creation, or I guess I'm looking to get into content creation, because I don't think I'm a content creator. I'm a Twitch streamer. I don't think I'm a content. Y'all are content creators. You have a podcast, things like that, right? Like I don't really have a whole lot of like outside content. So, but I want to, and so I've gotten more kind of just enamored with watching how people create content and like what that looks like and how to get inspired to create content and like the stuff behind the scenes. So I watch a lot of YouTube videos on that kind of stuff, and I kind of just go down rabbit holes. So I spend so much time on YouTube now that that it doesn't I just don't play video games as much as I outside of Pokemon that I used to. So
yeah. Nah, fair enough. I mean, as you said, the time is not always there to dabble in some other games for fun. I don't know. Sometimes when I'm playing a different game, I'm like, "Ooh, this could be streamed."
that's
Oh,
I'm 100%. Isn't that a crazy thought? Like I
yeah.
get into every time. I'm just like, I have all the. I look and it's like I have 4 hours of downtime. I look and I was like, I could stream. Like every time I was like, I could stream right now, and then I just need to like understand that content, like a lot of the content creation and content creator growth is built offline. You know what I mean? And so that's just another thing that people get kind of caught up with. And not to go on a complete side tangent, but
No,
I will say
it's valid.
I will say that one of the biggest things that Twitch streamers get caught up with, if you're a brand new Twitch streamer, the biggest thing that people get caught up with that absolutely does not matter and will never matter is the number of followers you have.
Yeah.
It matters up until you get an affiliate, right? But like if you create good content, you'll get to 50 followers. I promise people will find you. You'll get to 50 followers. What matters is concurrent viewership. You need to be able to have people watch you and be able to stay watching you and want to watch you for 4, 5, 6 hours consecutively, and then want to do it again tomorrow, right? Like that number is what matters, and everything else will come. So, but people get so caught up with, and it's cool to have follower goals. I think it's important. I think it's good for engagement. I think it's good for that kind of stuff. But like you as a streamer, you getting caught up with that follower number, you'll drown getting caught up with that follower number.
I've seen it happen to 100%. A few streamers.
Because you just like look at someone else and you're just like, I'm at 100 followers, and this person who just started streaming is now at 273 followers, and you're just like, oh, I haven't gotten a follow in like 3 days and stuff like that. And you just you get so caught up with the number of followers that you have.
Yeah,
you will drown in this space.
Envy will truly be the death of you.
100%.
And can I say, the people that I've dealt with in the past that have that follower envy don't stream anymore for that reason.
None of them do. None of them do. You can't do it for longer than like 18 months. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, because you don't have the time in. And then secondly, if you watch those people who are caught up in that kind of stuff, their content isn't good. Like their streams are very start and stop, because they're like looking over and checking numbers, or they're like caught up in other things and they're distracted and stuff like that, right? Like it's very, it's not an engaging environment. And so it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know what I mean? You get caught up in the fact that like people aren't watching you, and then you start focusing on the fact that people aren't watching you, which makes people stop watching you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so but yeah, that's the one thing that I tell any new streamer is don't get caught up with that follower number. Like I know it gets easy to, because that's how you become affiliate on Twitch, and that's how you become like affiliate on, or like your sub number on YouTube and stuff like that. But like
Yeah.
the number, it truly does. You don't get paid on that number. So if you care about like the money, like you can have, I've seen people who have 15,000 followers, but they have 3 viewers a stream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're not making any money either. You know what I'm saying? Like the number of followers you have doesn't affect anything. So yeah, just that's the one thing that I wish I had known when I first started streaming, and then I try to tell people when they first start streaming that don't ever focus on that number. So
yeah. No, that's facts. That's facts.
It really is.
Preaching it. No, that's awesome. Well, we've hit over the hour mark, so I don't know how much longer we have in us. But man, thank you so much for coming on the podcast tonight.
Yeah, no, this is a lot of fun. I appreciate the invite and things like that as well. So y'all are both amazing, content creators as well. So I'm just humbled to be, invited. So
no, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, dude.
I was talking to Coco, I think it was like a couple of weeks ago. And it was just before he reached out to you. And I was like, man, I've been watching Shatt3r3d, I've been watching like Teo, I've been watching Melody. There's all these freaking awesome Twitch streamers playing Pokemon VGC. Yeah. We have a Pokemon podcast. I reckon it'd be so great to get these guys on there. I was literally about to pull the trigger on we should get Shatt3r3d, and then Coco saying, hey, we should get Shatt3r3d on. I'm like, bro is on a different wavelength right now.
Right.
This guy.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's been an absolute pleasure having you on here and getting to know you on a different level as well, not just sitting there watching you cook. And by the way, dude, you can cook. You can cook. Yeah, obviously it's really great watching the streams, but yeah, getting to know you on a different level as well, and getting on the podcast for this content. And I'm sure in the very near future we'll have some more content get together as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything that y'all are a part of, if you are willing to have me, I am willing to make space to be a part of it. So
no, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dude.
Shatt3r3d, where can the people find you? Where can they find you?
Basically everywhere you can stream. So my all my handles are the same now, thankfully. So on Twitch it's Shatt3r3d Time, and everywhere the easiest way to remember is everywhere there's normally an E, there's a 3. So it's Shatt3r3d Tim3. So yeah, everywhere there's an E, there's a 3. But yeah, Shatt3r3d Time on Twitch, on YouTube, on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. So yeah, it's the same handle everywhere.
Man, that's awesome. I wish I could get that. My biggest problem is Freakin Chocolate doesn't fit on most things, and I usually have to drop the E off the end, which is why my Twitter handle is Freakin Chocolate, but without the E on the end.
Valid. Yeah.
It's frustrating, but no, that's sick that you've got that everywhere. Real great.
No, it's helpful. It's definitely helpful.
Definitely. Brilliant. Well, yeah, we'll have all of Shatt3r3d's links in the description below as well. Go check him out. Absolutely amazing Twitch streamer. Cooking, as I said, he really brings the heat on the VGC, and he's got the Nuzlocke coming up, as well as
shiny hunting as well.
Sneaky shiny hunting as well. Yes.
Yeah. My little side quests.
The little side quest. Before we wrap it up, my dude, do you have any final words for the people?
Yeah, I just a couple things. This first is I'm just big on chill vibes, right? So I don't ever try to take myself super seriously. So if you have any advice on anything that I could be doing better or differently, things like that, I'm happy to listen to anybody. I'm big on listening to the message, even if it's from a unique messenger. So first things first, and then second things second, I'm inviting everybody. So I'm happy to have everyone here. So if you are either new to Pokemon or new to VGC or super experienced, I feel like I've built a pretty good community that's inviting for people of all different skill levels to feel welcome to share their voice. So but yeah, I will be at NAIC the first weekend of June. So if you see me there, feel free to stop me. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be, I'm not gonna bite your head off. So yeah, if you need pictures, I love pictures. So
nice.
Hope to see everybody there.
Nice.
Very good. And Coco, any final words?
I want to shout out a couple of sponsors.
Oh yes, go for it. Yep.
So Your Turn Collectibles, given what they're doing for Big Brain as well.
Yep.
Just want to say big thank you to Your Turn Collectibles for sponsoring the podcast. And also, I guess this more applies to the guys in Australia. Winter's coming. Don't forget the hoodie. I'm working on getting a code for the podcast. But if you use my partner code, you get $35 off your hoodie order. Or no, off your hoodie. Sorry. So feel free to use Coco4dayz to stay warm.
So stay warm. Very good. All right. Well, yeah, that is pretty much all we have time for today. People, thank you all so much for listening. If you are listening on iTunes and or Spotify, please feel free to give us a 5-star rating and a review. If you drop a review, we will read it out on stream. If you are on YouTube watching us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like us because, I mean, look at us. We're 3 freaking awesome dudes doing the Pokemon thing. So there's no reason not to like us. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Shatt3r3d, I'll get you to say on the line just as we finish recording. But yeah, everyone, thank you all so much. Y'all are amazing, and we'll see y'all in the next episode. Peace.
Peace.